Free plane tickets to places like Paris, Puerto Rico, Casablanca. Train rides and bus tickets too. The recipients, the homeless. And taxpayers are footing the bill.
We used to call it, in a negative way, Greyhound therapy, but if it's done right, it is a very good program.
The National Coalition for the Homeless says cities across the country are using taxpayer money to get rid of homeless people, sending them to places where they can find a temporary home, mostly with relatives.
Given the cost of providing shelter for a family, this saves the taxpayers of New York an enormous amount of money.
New York City's Department of Homeless Services says, on average, it costs $218 per person for a one-way ticket. The cost of housing a family of 3 in a shelter, $36,000 a year. Justin Little and Eugenia Martin owed back rent on their apartment in North Carolina. So, with their 5-month-old daughter, they came to New York last week for a fresh start. With no money, they went to a shelter. Then they got the help they needed from family members. So 3 days later, the city paid to send them back on a Greyhound bus.
They paid for our tickets. They gave us food on the bus because we had no money. They even called to make sure we made it here and everything. So I'm grateful.
We felt pressured. I mean, we felt pressured that they wanted us to get out of the system, to get out of the state and to go somewhere else. And it was right from jump.
Linda Contes and her husband moved to New York a year ago after their Florida home went into foreclosure. She says as soon as the couple applied for shelter, instead of offering a bed, the city wanted to pay for tickets back to Florida. Contes, who now works as an advocate for homeless rights, says it took 3 months to convince social workers that returning was not an option.
If they can go back to another city and they have housing, I mean, by all means, but really in the long run, why were they here in the beginning? If they couldn't live where they were before, evidently they came here for a reason, you know, to get housing.